So the problem says that if ai is equal to summation of x to the power 3n plus I by 3n plus I factorial n equal to 0 to infinity, then a0 cube plus a1 cube plus a2 cube minus 3a0 a1 a2 is how much? So you can see that we need to only concentrate upon a0, a1 and a2. So at first, if we closely inspect, then a0 according to the series will come out to be substituting I by 0, so we'll be getting x to the power 0 by factorial 0, then x to the power 3 by factorial 3 plus x to the power 6 by factorial 6, and so on up to infinity. And the value of a1 will come out to be x to the power 1 by factorial 1, then x to the power 4 by factorial 4 plus x to the power 7 by factorial 7 to infinity, and a2 will come out to be x square by factorial 2 plus x to the power 5 by factorial 5 plus x to the power 8 by factorial 8, so on to infinity. So basically you can see that there is a interval length of 3 unit, okay, because of this 3n part. So the power of x is gradually going to increase by 3 in every case for a0, a1 and a2. Now the part that we need to simplify is a0 cube plus a1 cube plus a2 cube minus 3 a0 a1 a2. So if we look at this particular expression, then I think you will be able to recollect that this particular expression a0 cube plus a1 cube plus a2 cube minus 3a0 a1 a2, this can be factorized as a0 plus a1 plus a2 into a0 plus a1 omega plus a2 omega square, and a0 into a1 omega square plus a2 omega, okay, where omega is the imaginary real cube root of unity, and omega square is the other imaginary cube root of unity. So this particular step is very important, that the factorization of this part is this. Now we can see that a0 plus a1 plus a2, this particular factor can very easily be obtained to be the exponential series, because you can see that a0 plus a1 plus a2 on addition, we are getting x0 by factorial 0 plus x1 by factorial 1 plus x square by factorial 2, then x cube by factorial 3. So the powers of x are consecutively getting increased, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 like that to infinity, and in the denominator the corresponding factorials are appearing. So on adding a0 a1 and a2, we can easily see that we are getting the exponential series, so we can write it as e to the power x. Now for a0 plus a1 omega into a2 omega square, so for a1 omega into a2 omega square, what we are doing is that we are multiplying the second equation by omega and the third equation by omega square. So in the process, what is happening is that you can see that omega is getting multiplied with the second equation, so we can write down this to be omega into x, and for x to the power 4 we can safely write down this to be omega to the power 4, because omega to the power 4 is same as omega. And similarly x to the power 7 can be multiplied with omega to the power 7, because omega to the power 7 is again omega. So multiplying the second equation by omega and the third equation by omega square, so omega square will be coming here, omega to the power 5 will be coming here, because you can see that omega to the power 5 is nothing but omega square, because omega cube is 1, right? So similarly x to the power 8 can be written as omega to the x to the power 8 can be partnered with omega to the power 8, because omega to the power 8 is nothing but omega square, right, using the interesting property of omega, that is omega cube equal to 1, okay, because omega is an imaginary cube root of unity, so omega cube has to be equal to 1. So we can plan in this way. On multiplying the second equation by omega and third equation by omega square, we are getting these terms, and now we can see this is becoming like x0 by z factorial 0 omega x to the power 1 omega x square. This can be written as omega x cube, omega cube x cube, because omega cube is 1. And so we're getting omega x cube, then omega x4, omega x5. This will be omega x6, right? Because omega to the power 6 will be again 1, omega to the power 7, omega to the power 8. So we can easily see that this second particular factor is coming out to be e to the power omega x, right? X is getting replaced by omega x in the exponential series. And you can easily see that the third factor will come out to be e to the power omega square x using the last particular pattern. So ultimately the final product will come out to be e to the power x into 1 plus omega square. And as we know that omega is an imaginary cube root of unity, so 1 plus omega square. So sum of the three imaginary cube roots of unity is 0. So this will come out to be e to the power 0. So the final answer is going to be 1.